And now, without further ado, I give you Dr. Ramesh Rao and Dr. Vinod Prakash.
Where is Anjali? What a wonderful tribute. Thank you. And let me look across this wonderful audience here. It is amazing to have this family, these friends of Vinodji and Sarlaji this evening. And I think it is my privilege to be here, sitting next to this brave man. We hear, I think almost every country you have these awards for bravery every year. Someone jumping into a building on fire, rescuing someone. But I don't think I have come across in my life, and I have lived long, anyone as brave as Vinodji. I don't believe anyone here can imagine the strength that he has, and that over the past dozen years, that he has continued to invest in others' life, in others' happiness, in others' well-being, as he has done while navigating the world blind. I don't believe there are many such stories in the world. So, with that said, once again, it's my amazing privilege to be here this evening. I don't know most of you, but I am connected to IDRF for the past 20 years. And I still remember Sarlaji and Vinodji when we first met, I believe in 2003 at the WAVES conference. Sarlaji, as generous as she is still, has always been, gave a silver coin as a token to my then infant son, Sudhanva, who is going to be graduating next month from the University of Georgia. Sarlaji and Vinodji happen to be the kind of generous people that, again, you rarely see in this world. They have welcomed into their home such a variety of people. And they don't forget any one of them. So it is that everyone who has come to their home is a special guest that way. So, once again, let me say it is my honor and privilege to be sitting here next to Vinodji and to have a little conversation. It's not light cameras and TV here. I'm not going to be grilling him. I want to ask a few questions of him so that he can share with us some of the highlights from his life. It was my joy to both kind of plan with him this memoir. We sat and talked. I was then in Virginia, and I used to drive up from Little Farmville, Virginia, up to DC to meet with Vinodji and Sarlaji, and we spent hours, me asking questions and he narrating into a recorder, and that's how the memoir emerged. But I have had a longer, wonderful history with the Prakashes. And so, with that said, Vinodji, it is time to reveal my age. I'm 67, and when I turned 60, I kind of said, I started looking back. What have I done? Where have I been? So it's mostly kind of looking in the rear view mirror after you have turned 60. Uh, we are celebrating your 91st birthday, and instead of looking at that rear view mirror, there is something in you that drives you to look ahead. So tell us what it is that inspires you, what motivates you to look ahead instead of looking back.
Many thanks, Ramesh ji, and I'm grateful to the IDRF team, both the staff and the board, for organizing this program. And I am really feel blessed that I am one of the billions of children of Bharat Mata. Even now, over 1 billion people are living there. And while I am for 60 years, I am physically away from India or Bharat, yet my Atma, myself, in a way, is still in India. And I feel whatever, if any, I have accomplished, it is the blessings of those, not billions, of course that's the population, but over 30 plus years, hundreds of thousands of people who have been benefited by the philanthropy, and many of them are sitting here, donors, philanthropists, and of course, overwhelming majority is out in USA, but out of town. It is their generosity and trust in IDRF which enabled us to look forward. And there, I think IDRF team is already introduced, especially given my eyesight gone for more than 13 years. I am fully dependent on the wonderful operational team and board. So I think I have 3 essays which couple of times a day I recite. First is Samarpan. I submitted myself to Bharat Mata. Second is Seva, dedicate my life to service. Third is Satya. For me, Satya or truth is another word for God. One perhaps may say, I am an extremist, I don't know maybe what correct word. Believe it or not, I am still a citizen of India. I'm living here for 60 years. The reason is there is an oath you have to take when you change your citizenship from India to USA, which is, I think, in most cases there is no problem. And that's how and I consider them to be wise Indians. They are very prudent, they are wise, pragmatic, but I am perhaps stubborn. For me, that oath ceremony was not possible, so I retained my Indian citizenship. And that's what gives me the weather call. Bhagwan calls me while I am talking here, or 1 day, 1 month, 1 year more. That is up to that all invisible pervasive power, and that is like a shloka for me several times a day, and I have wonderful life partner. I am really blessed, very fortunate to Sarla, who is sitting here as my life partner. And let me here narrate a little bit. Please forgive me if I hope I'm not wasting your time. We were married 63 years ago, but through a patrika, a magazine called Harishchandra Patrika. Most of you may not have heard the name of Harishchandra, but if you visit Hindu encyclopedia, then you will find that there were 4 yuga, Satyug, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kal Yuga. So this is the story from Satyug, and that is the truth. So Harishchandra Vansh, and I'm adhering to that truth. And secondly, my own family, but more so Sarlaji's family, is a strong Arya Samaji. So at age 50, my age 50, she wanted me to, because I had completed what is multiple of 25, the first 25 your study, career, all that, then your family, and then it grest, and then third is Vanprasth. So I inquired from World Bank to if I could leave. I was told I could leave, of course, but no pension.
Vinodji,
So
you're
since
preempting
55.
some of my questions.
Okay, sorry. So I'm just completing my sentence. So at age 55, on the one hand, I resigned from the World Bank. On the other hand, I established IDRF. So credit in that respect goes to my beliefs with the help of my better half, my mythology or this trust there. Sorry, it wasn't very expanded.
Yeah, but I think you have highlighted something very important, and something almost anyone who meets Vinodji will very quickly discover. He said he's stubborn. Yes, he is a very principled man. So when he says truth or satya, there is something about, and again, it is such a rare quality. So when you're, if you were to kind of, give me the privilege of asking you to look back, who, when you're young, as a young boy, as a teenager, kind of inspired you? These things, sure, some have that kind of innate nature in them, but we are also sometimes inspired when you're young to follow, a path, something that inspires us to do good. So if you were to look back, can you share with us who it was, what it was that made you commit to this pursuit of the truth and as well as the well-being of others?
Thanks, Ramesh ji. I am privileged to be born in a family with modest means, but certain principles, and those principles were freedom fighting. My family was strong followers of Mahatma Gandhi towards freedom fighting. So even before I was born, my because I'm the youngest, and my eldest brother and next brother had already gone to prison. So, but I have vivid memory when I was 9 years old, and Gandhiji called for Quit India movement. I think it was August 9, 1942. Then my mother, my all three unmarried sisters, but educated, but unmarried sisters, my brother's wife, Bhabi, and even carrying 6 months old baby in our laps, they all offered satyagrah. So I had those things in my veins. As a result, 75 years ago, if we asked anyone, is there any, recall anything horrible, tragical, something that happened in India within 1 year of India's independence. Within 1 year of India's independence, even among the audience here, very respectable audience, there may be some may find it very difficult. But for me, it was Gandhiji's assassination followed by ban on RSS. And when RSS was banned, I was going to, as a child, 8, 9, 10-year-old, 11-year-old child going to RSS Shakha, play this up and down and all those things. So I was in 12th grade, UP board examination, and on January 1, 1949, I disappeared from home. I did not have courage to take permission from my parents, my brother and Bhabi, which I knew. Who will allow a child of a 15-year-old? So I just disappeared and offered satyagrah. For almost 2 months, I was in prison, then released, and then, oh my God, idealism is one thing, but what happened to my career? I was good in studies with the first division and distinction. So 12th grade examination was only a week or 10 days away. But God listened to me. God listened to me, and UP government's 12th grade board examinations were leaked. As a result, I got 5-6 weeks to prepare for my examination and retained my first division and distinction and all that. And
So, if you're, therefore, in terms of this commitment to India, commitment to freedom, surely, it was what you read about the freedom fighters and surely about Mahatma Gandhi. But if I recall, you have also mentioned how Swami Vivekananda inspired you. What is it about maybe his life, his commitment to not a particular nation or a people, but to the world? What was it, once again, that inspired you?
well, Swami Vivekananda is, if I had to choose in the whole planet about whom I have read or heard, I would say is number one, is the top, because even as a teenager, his actual name is Narendra. Swami Vivekananda's given name. His real name is Narendra. And he used to ask anyone in Calcutta, he was in Calcutta, have you seen God? And so one day he asked someone, Britisher, he asked because when a child, 12-year-old child, whether it's a white man or native Indian, doesn't matter. So he said, yes, I go there, you see. So that's how he went to what's called Belur Mutt. And then he asked the question, have you seen God? So then Swami, no, not Swami Vivekananda, he was just Narendra, 12, 13-year-old Narendra. Then and I don't know, Rameshji may provide the name of that real Swamiji. Yes, I see God. You say, how do you see? I see God actually as you are sitting in front of me. You are God. There is divinity in human being. Manav, so which led to Manav Seva, Madhav Seva. And believe it or not, it is a part of our Bharatiya Sanskriti or Indian culture. Atithi Devo Bhava. That is, anyone unexpected comes is a representative of God. So those values were, during my bringing up, were inculcated in me, and that is the driving force. Of course, God may call me or any moment, but till my last breath, this is my spiritual journey will continue.
So this commitment to India, it's I know there are others of your generation who came here in the early 60s who continue to maintain their Indian ID. But you came to the to this country, I think, 1961.
Yes.
So the India that you left behind at that point in time has, of course, changed vastly. So what is it that, you still see the promise of India, and maybe why your commitment, in terms of its continuing to be your punya bhumi, while for 7 decades this has been your karma bhumi?
Yes, I think there is, in some sense, a dilemma whether my submission should remain primarily to my Janbhumi, my land of my birthplace, which is also sacred land for me, my spiritual. Even though I am living in USA and last 60 years, we moved to, thanks to President Kennedy's liberalization of immigration visa policy, Sarla and I, we are among the first one who came to US in 1960, of course, initially on a student visa, but when we returned, and I think that was basically our destiny. Perhaps my memoir should reflect that we returned to India within 2 weeks after completing our scholarship program at MIT, and Sarlaji completing her master's degree. But during those 2 years, we were blessed with a child who is, at the moment, is sitting somewhere in this hall, and I hope he and his wife, dear wife, would not mind in sharing what happened. And here, in that respect, we are also very special guest, Krishna Jayaraman, who knows us since 1961. We were married and we had not done anything about family planning. We are blessed with a child, but the child had disability, and we returned to India, and we were told to put him in orphanage. But then in Vellore, when my wife Sarlaji went with him to Vellore, so she went to the Christian Medical College Hospital, and the orthopedist herself was paraplegic, and on wheelchair she will go in the hospital and all that, and in the wheelchair she will sit inside her car. And that was the gift to her by Ford Foundation. So that
Yeah, I think this gives me the point where we can kind of pivot
yes.
here to kind of your work and your commitment to IDRF. What is it that you and Sarlaji have looked for in terms of the kinds of organizations, the kinds of efforts, the kinds of initiatives that you wanted to support? What have you looked for? Who is it that you believe kind of require the support that IDRF can offer?
Well, firstly, I think I'm very grateful to the World Bank that giving us the alternative year opportunity, what is called the home leave. But unlike other typical employee, both Sarla and I were visiting, traveling many different regions of the world, of India, not just our immediate family members. So we saw on a charpai a patient was being carried, that is for the emergency, because there was no emergency van, there was no, so that had great impact on our values or our life, and that led to the birth of IDRF, which was initially, perhaps most of us may not know, that IDRF became my full-time passion since after taking retirement from the World Bank. But credit for my character goes to the imposition of emergency by Prime Minister Mrs. Gandhi. That emergency led to all like-minded Indians. I'm referring to 1957, 59.
No, 75 to 75.
75, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, 75, 77. So we started India Relief Fund, but with the objective of helping the families of political prisoners. But emergency was lifted in 21 months. So, and I had given my family background of satyagrahi and freedom fighting, and then this is my strong support from Sarlaji coming from Arya Samaji family. So I took over India Relief Fund, and believe it or not, that was 79. 79. Over the next few months, exact month one can find, Morbi Dam collapsed. Morbi Dam collapsed within few months of my taking over of this is India Relief Fund, and I happened to be the first Indian American at the World Bank. And there was no internet, there was no I was young and I had the guts or internal courage. I went to the Supreme, the executive director of the World Bank, Indian executive director, Mr. M. Narasimham, and who advised director of personnel, director of administration to allow me to use Xerox machine for copying and all that, and secretarial.
I'm going to stop you here, Vinodji, because I want people to read your book. I don't want to get them all the details that you're giving away. But let me wrap up this evening's conversation with a question about what you see as the future of IDRF, as you you have led it so well now for 4 decades. What do you want people to take IDRF towards, and where do you see it headed?
Well, I think I am confident that especially over the past almost a decade, 8 years, almost a decade, we have such an excellent team of IDRF staff with total dedication and commitment, and they are sitting here that will continue, because the needs of India, I mean, I'm going to leave the planet very near future, but with population of India, and also it is not that the poverty is the same as some years ago. It is not what was 50 years ago, 60 years. It is in the new norms are there, technology is there, new ways are there for helping through digital world. We can accomplish far more, and the future is and board of directors is also very futuristic. The board will continue. Staff is very dedicated, and it is all due to them that ratings of IDRF are at the top. We do not have fundraising programs as many other organizations have. It is our just ratings, the premier rating agencies which are top. And we keep our admin even now even below 5%. Earlier it used to be just a couple of.
Thank
so
you.
I hope future successors, it is down the road, I don't know. When I leave this planet, somebody will come with total dedication and commitment. So there can be appropriate replacement and legacy may continue.
Thank you, Vinodji. Again, I want to repeat that it has been my privilege and my honor to have come to know you and Sarlaji. It is my privilege and honor this evening to sit here and talk to you. And I hope all of you will enjoy the evening. And once again, thank you for